It's time for 45 RPNs. It is Friday night at 5 p.m. at GPAC, Treaty 1 territory, Carmen, Manitoba. We are here. Ernie Enns, who has brought some himself with his vast amounts of knowledge, and Nigel Bart, who doesn't know much but likes to talk. So here it goes. We're going to talk about music, collecting, and everything in between. And, I'm here with my art, and I'm just like sketching, and I'm drawing, I'm painting. I have a bunch of paintings out. And Ernie's here, and he's got, very minimal, nice package of 100 of the best-selling albums of the 1970s. And it's a beautiful collector booklet. And Ernie and I were talking beforehand, and we were trying to figure out what we would talk about today. And I shot Ernie a text. I said, and we were trying to communicate this through text. I said, Ernie, let's talk about like weather and climate and how it affects sort of creativity amongst musicians. And I guess like that alone came from an idea that I heard about one time, that sometimes, in harsh climates, like extreme climates where you have to sort of isolate a lot, like the greatest music comes out of, more of a hypothesis or a idea that comes from that. And that's honestly, I think we're not going to go in that direction, because that one went. I basically answered the question right there. It's kind of a flat question, but we're going to go a little deeper here, and today we're going to just go pretty random and just talk a bit about stuff around us, and then we're going to pull it together and find if there's a theme related to anything in this conversation. And we've shifted the room here. We're not sitting in the other gallery space. We're sitting in the back, where now this room here is where Ernie and I first met, and we first had this concept idea. We were just sitting around having coffee. Ernie was doing some work in the building, and so yeah. So how was your day? Let's start there, Ernie. You're talking close to the mic.
Good. Yeah, no, it was a nice day. It was a short day. Like, I didn't work overly hard today or anything, but I was installing a fan, like a range hood fan, a box that I had built earlier, and it was mudded or partly mudded. And then I stuck a fan in it. I was hooking up the heating and all that, and I finally got it kind of together. So tomorrow I'm gonna finish drywalling it and then mud it and that sort of thing. And then I can go on to bigger and better things, which is cabinets. Cabinets are sitting there ready to go in. Sweet. And so I get to do that. But something just struck me when you said, you were talking earlier about the coldness will inspire or get people to go inside. So, and there might be something to that, because they say that Winnipeg is the coldest major city in the world, and that means over a certain population or whatever. So it's the coldest major city in the world. And there is a consensus in Canada with all the rock and rollers, from the 60s and the 70s, that Winnipeg is the music capital of Canada.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just
coincidence, or maybe there is some.
Maybe I don't have a right to say that, but when you think about all the bands that came out of Winnipeg, and I think most people, there is a consensus about that Winnipeg should be. So there could be something to that, what you said about cold climate, and force people to go inside, and it breeds great creativity, that sort of things.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a theory.
It's a
It's been,
theory.
that wasn't
Yeah.
my theory. It was, I read it somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know, I think like, you know, when you live in a climate like that's sort of like the Himalayan mountains, like you don't ever know what's coming next. Today we have these blistering cold winds and there's snow, and it's a blistering west wind, and you know, every time this kind of weather hits us, I always think like you got to be pretty creative to survive. Like you have to think like, okay, my hands are freezing, but you know, like, or like you know, you have to plan a lot, you have to think a lot to survive.
Yeah.
We still have to work. We have we still have the challenges of the modern day world where you know we have to work hard and like sustain everything we have on this
Yeah.
here in this community. But and it's a very like it's not like we're um you know by any extent like I always think that people think that we live in igloos and stuff, which is just not
Well, if you
correct.
go far enough south, maybe they think
Well,
that.
there's a lot of weird thoughts floating around, but
Yeah.
no, what I mean by that is that, you know, like the internet helps too. Like a lot of people just go on
Yeah.
Zooms and stuff
Yeah. I
when
get
they,
it.
but,
Yeah. True.
or like FaceTiming with everyone. But I find that being in this harsh climate, like, and also with COVID, like,
Yeah.
you know, that
Yeah.
shutting us down and locking us in our houses, so much good creativity came out of that. Like
Yeah. It did.
it slowed our minds down and just like
Yeah. It did.
it slowed life down. But we went internal.
Yeah.
Like we started creating stuff.
Yeah. You go on YouTube and you find all kinds of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, like COVID. If you want to talk about something good coming out of COVID, I have noticed that people come out and do stuff now. You know,
Yeah.
all the things that they took for granted before, they don't anymore, including myself.
Yeah.
And now I notice that people enjoy things more. They come do things more
Yeah.
and appreciate things more. And
Yes.
and so yeah, you can't just take things for granted always. And we were living in a pretty good time, and maybe our lives are getting boring, or I don't know what you want to call it, but maybe COVID gave us that reset,
I think so. That's what I would
to a
look at
point,
now.
because I think people are generally happier and going out and doing stuff, and it's just everybody's more happier,
Happier and grateful, like to be,
and grateful. Yeah, you
you
betcha.
know.
But yeah, another thing you said there about working in the cold and freezing your hands and all that stuff, and it just everything in the construction industry, everything takes longer. So you
I know.
you want to go outside and get a tool, while you got to get your jacket on and your boots on, zipper up, and then you go outside
Yeah.
and get your tool, come back and take it all off, and then you realize, oh, I forgot the blade, and then you
Yeah.
get, you know what I'm saying, and
And our
it's,
brains slow down too in the
yeah,
cold. Like we
it's,
just want to hibernate. I
but
find.
and having said that, I think if we didn't have the four seasons, living here and growing up here, I think we would miss that, the four
Yeah, you're right.
seasons. And
Yeah.
so I like wintertime. I don't like the 30 below. I just don't.
Yeah,
Being in
I
construction, I don't like
dislike
it.
it too. Yeah.
It wrecks everything. It wrecks your vehicle, and it wrecks your tools, and it
Mhm.
wrecks everything, and snow and ice.
I know.
But snow per se, I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
pretty and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of winter, but if we didn't have it, I'd miss it. I'm sure I would.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
Yeah. The variety of seasonal difference
Yeah.
is always nice.
Yeah,
And
we grew
there's
up with seasons, and I don't think we could change.
no, you're right.
You know.
Yeah. Right here, I pull out my marker, and I was thinking of like an idea. Um, you know, I was thinking about this. You know, the music of the '70s, for example. Um, you know what I've been listening to here all of like since Brenda left. I'm here sort of managing the gallery for like basically a week and a half or something, while Brenda's away in LA.
Yeah, that's right.
in LA, well,
So
close
to the
to
big
there.
city.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say was I've been listening to the '80s like this whole time, and I
Oh,
love it, like '80s pop. And it's just like
yeah.
it's been so exciting just to listen to that. Like it's sort of I don't know what we're gonna do when Brenda gets back because it's just like it's been '80s pumping all day long.
Well, there you go.
but but no, speaking of the '70s, why don't you do this thing called bibliomancy?
No,
You flip that book open just randomly, and something's gonna pop out, and you talk about it. Who
that
is
one.
it? Who is
That
it?
is Sweet Baby James.
Who
Okay,
is he?
James Taylor. None
Hey!
other than James Taylor.
Oh my gosh! So talk about him for a bit.
I don't know. Never really. I like his songs, but his songs to me were all like Fire and Rain was really nice, really good song. But the rest of his songs were all kind of middle of the road. They weren't something I'd run out and buy, but they're also not something that I would shut off the radio when I heard it. You know, like it was good '70s music.
Yeah,
You know, and he
yeah,
did some stuff with, and then he had the fling with Carole King, or not Carole King. Him and Carole King wrote songs together. Carly Simon.
yeah.
Him and
Oh,
Carly Simon had a thing going on, and whether they were actually, I think they were a couple, but whether they were a married couple or not, I don't know. I'd have to read up on that. I know there's all kinds of stuff about him, but
who's Charlie Simon? That one.
Carly Simon,
What did she sing, or what was her?
Carly Simon, You're So Vain.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
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 you know we've even done that one in the band. In fact, I'd like to like do it for serious because we've kind of dabbled in it, and it sounded really nice when the girls were singing it. And so
yeah,
great song, really good song.
yeah,
And but that was her claim to fame. But she had a song called Anticipation,
yeah. Okay.
which is one of my favorite Carly Simon songs. And when speaking of Carly Simon, when my wife and I, and she was expecting, and we're expecting our first child,
Yeah,
and so you think about names, right?
yeah,
You always come up with a list of names of boys and girls. Back then, you didn't know ahead of time if you're having a boy or girls. I'm
right,
talking
right.
like in 80, exactly in 1980 or
Yeah,
81.
yeah,
That's what 81. We got married
yeah,
in 80. So like that, and we're thinking, and we're just leaving Carmen, and we're on our way to Winnipeg, and we have all this list of lists of kids' names, girls and boys.
yeah.
And a song, Anticipation, comes in on by Carly Simon. And I said to Cheryl, I said, Carly, what about Carly? Isn't that a pretty name? She says, yeah, I like that. And so our daughter, our oldest daughter, is named
Uh,
Carly because of the one particular time when I listened to Anticipation, that song.
oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. So, well, see, yeah, they're closely tied together, James Taylor and Carly Simon. I think they might have been married at one time. But they were a couple anyway,
Okay.
to some degree. And when she wrote that song, "You're So Vain,"
Mm-hmm.
everyone writes and speculates who that song is about.
Mm.
You know, because she
Wow.
sings, "You're so vain," whatever. You probably think this song is about you.
Yes.
And some people say it was James Taylor. Other people say it was Cat Stevens. How he ties in, I don't know. But
Oh, that's so interesting.
yeah, so I don't know. Here, I'm just reading the credits here. Number one. It talks about Sweet Baby James. It was an album. It sold 3 million albums. It was released on March 1970. It doesn't give the exact date. Well, different in every country, right?
Right.
In Europe versus U.S. versus Canada, it's all different days. And so, featuring the U.S. top hit, "Fire and Rain" is on this album, and that was, I don't know if it was his biggest hit, but I'm guessing it might have been. Great song,
Yeah.
great song, and
Let me see the list. Just take a look at his list on there.
yeah,
The song I remember would be. Trying to remember which song.
I think
Um,
the only other one that would have been Carolina on my mind. Might have been
Yeah, that
oh,
one is a
might have been the
strong.
only other one that would have been on radio, maybe.
Yeah. No, I like his voice though. He's
Yeah,
he's definitely got in his guitar playing and everything. Just a
yeah,
nice sound.
yeah. He's as folk as they get, right? You know, he's had folk. He was his folk was good enough to be on pop radio, on popular radio. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So not
yeah.
everybody got that.
No,
Most
no.
guys, you had to have electric guitar if you're going to get on radio, and he did it with
Yeah,
an acoustic guitar.
yeah. And he definitely has a sound that's just
Yeah,
his own. It's,
absolutely. Uh, I don't know. It has it right up here. I don't know if you want to hear it or not.
sure, read it. Yeah.
It's written by. I'm not sure who this book is written by actually. I'm not sure. So the credit goes to whoever wrote this. Hamish Champ. It looks like Hamish Champ, an experienced music journalist, has written about music and entertainment industry for a wide range of publications, including Billboard. So I assume that's the guy that did this. So thanks to Hamish Champ. Never heard of him. He writes, featuring the U.S. top three hit, top three, so it didn't make number one. So Fire and Rain. Apparently, as much about the suicide of a fellow patient during Taylor's time in the hospital. Oh, interesting.
So he must have been in a psych hospital, a psychiatric
Yeah,
hospital.
yeah. So it's written about a suicide of a friend, so
Hmm.
of a fellow patient, I guess, during Taylor's time in the hospital for mentally ill, as the love song it is often taken for Sweet Baby James. Served to confirm that the singer-songwriter's skills at weaving bittersweet country rock songs around love, friendship, loss, and life. His second album was full of lilting introspection. Ooh, there's
Oh wow,
there's a
that's
phrase,
great.
introspection,
Yeah.
that had marked his e- no, Emonius debut set. I don't
Wow,
know.
he's very lyrical in his
Is he
writing
ever
there.
like I'm not
Hamish.
half of these words.
That's good.
Okay, so recorded earlier for the Beatles Apple label. It was beautifully delivered paperback love song or paired back love songs. Notably, Blossom is on here. While there's a country aplenty on the title track, and Anywhere Like Heaven, and even a jazzed up blues tune, Steamroller, where Taylor is napalm bomb guaranteed.
Napalm bomb.
Natom,
Guaranteed.
Natom bomb guaranteed to blow your mind. With the Vietnam War still ongoing and the hopes of the 60s generation of fading memory, the album tapped into the post-hippie attitudes then prevailing. Sweet Baby James spent much of the 12 months following its release in the top 10. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Of the US charts and hit number 7 in the UK. The success of the single and the album brought Taylor's first album and single, Carolina on My Mind, back to the charts. So Carolina was first.
Oh yeah.
And then I guess after that it would have been Fire and Rain, and then all of a sudden he was noticed. This guy is somebody, so they brought his first single out. Interesting stuff.
Yeah. Do another one of those.
I'm reading here some credits here. Some number one singles. James Taylor never had a number one. Grammy Awards. Carole King, none. No, she never won it. I wonder what this is here. This footnote. Peter Asher. So the producer of that album is Peter Asher. Do you know who that is?
No.
That is Peter and Gordon. There was a band duo called Peter and Gordon.
Yeah.
Peter Asher, Peter Asher's sister dated Paul McCartney before he met Linda.
Oh,
So
wow.
interesting stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. But anyway, another one?
Do another one. This is cool. We're gonna do 3 of them, and you're gonna. Oh yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, just
Okay.
pick one. Just pick one, and then
Yeah,
I'll see what I know about it.
Bob
Oh,
Seger
oh,
live
I could.
bullet. 44 live bullet. Is this 44
Oh,
page or what is that 44 there?
the 44.
That's
It's 44th from the top. It's number 44
44.
of the top 100
Okay.
albums. It's number 44. That's what
Okay.
that means.
Okay. So it goes here. Live bullet.
Oh, I could tell you about that one.
Album sales 5 million. Release date August 76. It is rare for an artist to record a live album, which then acts as the catalyst for newfound commercial success. But that is exactly what happened with Bob Seger and his Silver Bullet Band and their Live Bullet album, recorded at Detroit Cabo Hall. While the guitarist singer had a decent enough following in his own backyard, it was the album's release in the summer of 76 which boosted his career in his home country and brought him a wider audience beyond the shores of the US. Oh. Where was he from? Hold on, I'm going to read this.
Detroit.
Okay. So where is...
Ann Arbor, actually. Michigan. Ann Arbor,
okay,
Michigan,
so where was he playing there? Did I miss that? He was
uh,
playing... Okay, let me keep reading. Sorry, I'm throwing it. Oh, yeah, so he let me reread that. So he played... While the guitarist singer had a decent enough following in his own backyard, it was the album's release in the summer of 76, which boosted his career in his home country and brought him a wider audience beyond the US. In June 76, he played in front of 50 people in Chicago bar. 3 days later, he played in front of 76,000, oh my gosh, devoted fans in the Pontiac Silverdome outside of Detroit. While Live Bullet managed a modest number of 34 placing on his US Hot 100 and did not even chart in the UK, it nevertheless built slowly and gave an insight into Seger's bluesy, almost funky approach to rock and roll. Covers of such songs as Tina Turner's Nutbush City Limits and
great song.
Van Morrison's I've Been Working are evidence of the funky side, while Ramblin' Gamblin' Man is pure American barroom rock and roll. So some of the songs on that album were Nutbush City Limits, Traveling Man, Beautiful Loser, Jody Girl, I've Been Working, Turn the Page, UMC, Upper Middle Class, Bo Diddley, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, Heavy Music, Catmandu, Looking Back, Get It Out of Denver, Let It Rock. Oh, wow. Sound awesome. Number one singles. He doesn't have a number one single. Yeah. That's cool. And he was American, you say?
Yeah. Ann Arbor, I think he comes from Michigan.
Okay. I love... now, is that Bob Seger who sang that old time rock and roll?
Yeah.
Like that was an 80s version. Like that would have been.
Yeah, I don't know when that came out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly when that came out, but yeah, because I saw like the very first band I ever saw in my life was Bob Seger and Silver.
Oh, really?
Silver Bullet, yeah. I'd never been to a music concert or any type of concert.
Mm-hmm.
And they said in 1976, and I know it was 1975. It was 1975 in August when I saw him live in Winnipeg, and he did all these songs. So they must have they must have recorded it then.
Yeah.
And then released it the following year, because when we saw him, do you know what Sadie Hawkins is? You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I got taken off to Sadie Hawkins to this concert.
Oh.
And so, I mean, this girl, that wasn't my wife, so I can't say.
Oh.
so me and this girl went to see that concert. And a week earlier, before this album was recorded. a week earlier. So, because if you read the credits on here, it'll show the date it was recorded,
Mm-hmm.
and the following week is when I saw them. So they sounded when
Oh.
I saw them, they sounded exactly like they did on the album. Exactly. You know,
Oh, wow.
when I bought the album and listened to it, it's like it's just exactly the sound was that good. And and dare I say, this is if it's not the best, it's in the top five for sure, live albums ever.
Yeah,
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 this live album like that, all
yeah.
those songs you said there, it's a double record, so you can listen to all four sides. There's not a bad note or a bad song on that album.
That's amazing.
And then when you listen to him in the studio, and this is my opinion, you listen to him in the studio, it doesn't have that energy that he has in the
Right.
live.
That's pretty
He's
remarkable.
better live than he is on the studio album.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is
guaranteed.
so cool.
But great album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened just to death. Well, yeah, that's right too. I remember when Cheryl and I were dating, so there must have, I'm not sure what was going on there, but at the same time, well, this was on,
Yeah.
well, I had this on cassette, and we played that thing to death, her and I,
Oh,
when I
so
was
good.
first dating her.
So good.
Yeah, and Nutbush, he started his concert with that song, Nutbush City Limits. And if you listen to the album, if you ever want to borrow it, I actually have two copies of it.
I gotta hear this. I do
Yeah,
have to see
you know,
hear
when this
this.
album starts, right at the beginning, hey Detroit, he comes
Oh.
out, hey Detroit, and everybody's cheering like this. The music starts, eh?
Oh.
All of a sudden the drum comes in.
Oh my gosh. That would have been definitive for the whole rock.
It
Sort of
was
big
just blew me
stadium
away.
rock.
Like I was like, it was just like I'd never heard anything like it, and especially that song and that band and that Drew Abbott, the guy that plays guitar for him. At
Mhm.
that time, like I didn't know much about rock bands and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, I was still into dating and cars, and I liked all
Yeah.
that stuff. And then and I hear these guys, and this Drew Abbott, like it's like best guitar player in the world. Well, not, but at the time you're thinking that, right?
Yeah.
What a great band. Yeah, you should listen to this.
I will. I
Listen to
will
that
go
album.
home
Yeah.
and tune in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just his and the way the album is done too, like start to finish, the way the order he has them in is really cool, because Traveling Man is kind of a real. It, it goes away from this heavy rock here,
Yeah.
and then it's just a really good song,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have that power that the first one does.
Right.
And then Beautiful Loser is just kind of middle of the road. And then Jody Girl, what a great song.
Oh, I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Turn the Page, and then he goes right through, and then looking back and Get Out of Denver and Let It Rock. The last side on the album is just, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And that is just crazy good, that last side. And so,
Wow.
yeah, it's a really, really, truly a great album.
That's cool.
But,
Next one is on you.
okay. Let's see.
We still got a few minutes here. And we got to tie this all together into a thematic something
I
or
don't know
other.
much about them.
Okay, pull it. Don't look. Don't look. You
Sorry.
gotta close. Just yeah. There you go.
Oh,
No. What was it? Oh, it's James
I
Taylor
did it
again.
before,
Let's
I must
start. Okay, flip it open.
I don't know much about this one either.
Oh, let's hear it.
T for the Tillerman.
Well, let's read what it says here.
Cat Stevens.
Oh, of course, Cat Stevens. We're gonna go straight. And you spoke of Cat Stevens
Yeah,
with
yeah. What's his
Carly
name now?
Simon.
What's his name now?
I don't know. It's gonna say here.
He changed his name. He did the Islam thing and changed his
Oh,
name. Yeah,
okay.
he's oh, I forget what it is.
Yeah. So it looks like, gauging from the picture here, it looks like Cat for the Tillerman is about a story about a.
T for the Tillerman.
Oh, I saw a cat. Well, it's Cat Stevens.
Cat Stevens.
Sorry, my brain's really tired right now. But T for the Tiller. What's a Tillerman?
I have no idea.
It looks like he's sort of a hobo character, actually.
Works in the garden, maybe. I don't
Maybe. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, here goes. I'm going to read. Something really epically connecting is going to happen here. I think. I'm just guessing. I'm just hoping. So it's 92 on the scene. 92, whatever
Oh, it's way back.
place. And the album sales were 3 million. Release date November 70. So
November 70.
the other one? What's his name?
The one Bob
James
Seger?
Brown?
Or
I mean James James Brown.
Bob Seger?
No, the other one.
The first one?
The
James
first
Taylor?
one. James Taylor, yeah.
Would have been middle 70s somewhere.
Okay.
I forget what it said.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But T for the Tiller Man built on the early promise of Cat Stevens' comeback album, Mona Bone Jacon. I don't know what that is, but and established him as a major talent in America. The album was released through Mobile Fidelity Records, with his career having been on pause at the end of the 60s after contracting tuberculosis. So he also had illness there.
Really? Okay.
Stevens re-emerged with the perfect Carly Simons was...
Oh.
I don't know, first James Taylor, she was connected to him, and he had mental health issues, and now, no, I'm just playing with that. Stevens re-emerged with the perfect timing early the following decade, just as the singer-songwriter movement was taking hold. He has such a good voice. How could he have a tuberculosis? That's a lung disease. That's crazy.
I don't know.
Anyway, opening track, Where Do the Children Play? Typified Stevens with new direction. A seemingly straightforward pop song, it addressed on closer examination the artist's concerns about the price society was paying for the advancement of technology. Wild World, that's interesting. Like way back in 70, he was talking about like the problems of technology, like phones and stuff. Well, it would have been cell phones, but it would have been.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been cell phones.
I mean, that's kind of where. That's
technology didn't do a whole lot for a lot of decades. In electronics, especially.
And then, he goes on here. Wild World, his first U.S. top 20 single,
like that song.
number 11, provided a novel twist on the breakup song. While Father and Son cast its writer in both title parts in a conversation between the generations. Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then ex-Yardbird, Paul Samuel Smith. Do you know him?
No.
Okay, provided a loose, gentle production which allowed Stevens' songs to breathe. Urged on by the success of Wild World, the album took 5 months after release to reach a peak of number 8 in America, where it stayed on the chart for 79 weeks. That's long.
Oh, wow.
While in the UK, it reached a more modest number 20. Songs from this album have been recorded by a diverse range of artists, from Mr. Big, Wild World, to Boyzone, Father and Son. So some of this, I'll just read the songs here on this, and then I'll read the...
Yeah, I'm curious what's on there.
Where Do the Children Play? That's number 1. Hard-Headed Woman, number 2. 3, I wonder if that was about Carly Simon. Maybe. And she was getting back at him with for You're So Vain.
She wasn't really on the scene at that time yet.
Okay, we'll just carry on. 3, Wild World. 4, Sad Lisa. 5, Miles from Nowhere. 6, But I Might Die Tonight. 7, Longer Boats. 8, Into White. 9, On the Road to Find Out. 10, Father and Son. And 11, T for the Tiller Man.
No, the only one I know is Wild World. He had a lot of great songs, but I guess that one only one of them charted, as far as I know.
Yeah. And then the people in his lineup here are Cat Stevens, Personnel, Alan Davies, John Ryan, Harvey Burns, John Rothstein, Del Newman, producer Paul Samuel Smith. Do you know any of those guys?
No.
His label's
No, I
UK.
don't know much about Cat Stevens. I know he had "Oh Very Young" was a great song. I don't know if you remember that one.
Not really. The ones that I know are sort of his like his more
Peace Train. Peace
things
Train
like
was
that.
a
Yeah,
big
I
one.
think it was
Uh,
who's he? There's another artist who sounds just like Cat Stevens. His
uh,
name's he does Harry Chapin Carpenter,
oh,
similar.
Harry
Like I
Chapin.
always connect the two.
Harry Chapin.
Yeah, Harry Chapin. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I guess kind of yeah.
yeah.
No,
There's no Carpenter on the end of that.
I think his best song was probably "Oh Very Young," like to me,
Mm-hmm.
because he sings about "Oh Very Young, what are you gonna leave us this time?" You
Mm-hmm.
know, like the new generation coming up and that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so,
Yeah,
but
it's political based. Like I find it.
yeah, he's kind of the. I guess he would be like I don't know, the Carol King of for the guys. He'd be like the, but not really Carol King. Like who would I
Yeah.
compare him to? Uh, yeah, I don't know, but he was very folky and
Yeah. Very much. I as
where's he
much as
from?
I know.
Where's he from?
Uh,
Like he's like
I think it's American, but I don't know where from.
I always thought he was not American, but maybe he is.
Yeah.
Like I could find out.
Yeah, you'll have to.
I can find out. Where is Cat Stevens from?
Beam me up.
Cat Stevens was born in Marylebone.
Monovan.
What does that mean? Marlow,
Yes, UK.
Central London.
Oh, it's England.
Inner city area, central. Yeah, is district west of London, the city of Westminster, Oxford. So yeah, he's an English boy.
It's a Britty.
He's a Britzy.
So that's interesting. Like, okay, so we have a few minutes here before we wind her up. We've tackled on three albums here that were like top albums in the 70s, and we're looking at James Taylor,
Bob Seger,
live album, and
Cat Stevens.
Cat Stevens. Interesting combo. Like, I wonder, you know, what is your favorite out of all those?
Bob Seger.
Bob Seger. Yeah, he's more rock and
Oh yeah.
and just rock and roll.
Yeah,
But,
I like his stuff, and he had a lot of hits through the '70s. Before that, like his earlier stuff, Ramblin' Gambling Man, I didn't even know that stuff.
right.
Like he released
right.
stuff in the '60s, like I think that was '69.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that song.
Yeah.
Never heard it before.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
when Olsen Bob Seger got big, and then I looked up some of his stuff, and then I realized that he had earlier hits. I'd never heard of them.
Right.
But then I wasn't really listening to radio that much in the early '70s.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit I did. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was thinking, like James Taylor, when you said, talked about his, sort of his ties, like that song, or the album was inspired by someone who committed suicide. Like, immediately that caught my attention. I feel like that guy has some depth. I think I'm going to list all these albums when I go home tonight.
yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to just give them a good listen. This is a good way to go forward. Like, I think we should do this on like if you have like do this kind of comparison thing, just like random comparison, just to to try
so
and
the Cat Stevens would be the James Taylor of England, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a good comparison right there. They were kind of much the same in different countries.
Yeah.
Whereas Bob Seger was from U.S. and he was rocking it. So,
Yeah.
but the other two, they would go hand in hand.
Yeah.
It'd be like working with Joni Mitchell and Neil Young.
Right.
Talking about those two,
Right.
how they would be. So
This is really cool. I like all, like, I think I'm gonna the three, like, I definitely want to listen to the Live Bullet album. But
I have that. I have 2 copies of the Live Bullet. I have this album. I don't think I have Sweet Baby James though.
okay.
I don't think I have that album.
The other thing that caught my attention on that was it a song about, or uh, there was it said that one of the songs on Cat Stevens, I believe, was between generational
Father and son.
father and son. It was just this communication between the the
Yeah.
generational difference.
You know, I've listened to that song years ago because I was curious what it was about, and
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't remember, but
Well, I'm gonna listen now. I think it's good. Like I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
and also like that, like a lot of. I mean, there was like during James Taylor's time, was it the war, the Vietnam War? That was a huge social change there. Or Cat Stevens, maybe that's.
probably Cat Stevens.
But like
more
it was
so.
just like there was so much like problems emerging. Like people realized during Nixon's sort of reign in the States that it was like, my God, what are we fighting for? You know, like I mean, certain wars didn't need to be fought. Sort of like they were too
that's
destructive, and then
it's too much.
but I think that's kind of what Cat Stevens is about. He's more of a pacifist approach.
Yeah, and then later on in life he changed his name. I don't know. It's Yusuf. It doesn't say in there, does it?
It doesn't. Probably not. When was this book published?
What is Cat Stevens' new name?
Here's what I found from Wikipedia.org. In December 1977, Stevens converted to Islam and adopted the name Yusuf Islam the following year.
Yusuf Islam.
Interesting.
That's his new name, yeah.
And this book would have been. You got this book for $10, £10. It looks like.
I don't even know where.
That's
I got
British
that book.
money. That's £10.
I don't know where I got that book. I remember one time I saw it somewhere, and I just thought, yeah, it's the coolest thing ever.
So good.
But
Oh, you know what?
But I can't remember where.
This is where I want to do something next time. So you got this book.
Yeah.
And I want to show you something here. What I have. I have a book in here in my little drawer. It's almost identical.
Oh yeah.
Size. And this is called the art book. And next time we're gonna flip this open and talk about.
There you.
I'm gonna talk. Well, maybe we'll exchange. We'll do one from the '70s book, one from the art book, and we're gonna compare art to music. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
Ooh, there's.
I like that.
Yeah. There's all sorts of wild artists in history.
Do you know all those names of those artists?
Most of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Most of them. I studied these in art schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way going forward. I mean, just draw sort of some comparisons. And...
Yeah. Well, there's 100 in here. I don't know how many's in there. A lot more than 100.
Yeah. Well, no, I'd say there's probably 500 maybe in here.
Yeah.
I don't know how many pages. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna wind her up, I think, for now. Thank you, Ernie, for doing this. Thanks to GPAC and everyone who keeps this place alive. And GPAC, the gallery here in Carmen, Manitoba. And yeah, I hope you guys stay warm if you're somewhere cold, and cool if you're somewhere warm. Is there any warm places on the earth right now? I think LA might be where Brenda is. Yeah. Anyways, you guys have a great night and a great weekend. It's Friday night. I'm gonna put this up on the air as soon as possible.
Keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking in the free world. Yeah. How to stop this thing? Hold on. I'll cut that part off.